This is a conspiracy. That's what this is.
Just begging to course its way through your veins.
Let's just for a moment speculate, shall we?
You're into comic books, aren't you?
I'm a nerd.
But you do like comic books.
Comic books aren't just for sad nerds anymore.
Do you think we need one more?
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Do you think we need one more?
Objection, calls for speculation, move to strike.
This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
All right, we'll get one more.
Spec Tales, a comic book podcast with Jake and Jesus.
Hail and well met, comic-loving traveler. Ye has founded thy way to the kingdom of Spec Tales, and our 96th episode. I am the ever most humble Nerif of Shottingham, but you may call me Jake. And he who sitteth next to me is a beard of significant lineage. Songs have been sung about his great victories storming New Caprica. Legends have been written about his acts of heroism at the Battle of the Bastards. And I'm also told he played a significant role in the prison assault from Season 4 of Episode 10 of The Walking Dead. He is Sir Jesus. What do you say to that introduction, Mr. Bearded Wonder?
Well, just riddled with a bunch of fallacies and inaccuracies. It was actually the Battle of the Bearded Bastards. So you forgot that part on there. Everybody was bearded, and it was a huge battle. And if you don't know about it, it's probably because you don't have a beard.
Was that scene cut from Game of Thrones? I don't remember everybody having a beard.
How dare you? That was a whole episode in itself.
Oh, it was a secret episode. I didn't catch it.
If you didn't catch that one, man, that's the Mandela effect. So there you go.
The Bearded Bastards. You're right. It does have a certain alliteration to it.
Yeah, that's why they did it.
If this is your first time joining us for Spec Tales, thank you very much for giving us a listen. Spec Tales is a comic book podcast that has collectors and creators. What's your Grail Tale? Each week, we explore new stories about the comic book grails we love, the epic journeys behind how they were obtained, and how they inspired new creativity.
We also dive into some comic book speculation and how, as collectors, we can help the hobby pay for itself.
Now, Jesus, you might have been asking yourself why all the theatrics in the intro today, and I'm sure all the listeners were as well. Or maybe not, because they are now expecting me to be the court gesture on the mic. But to answer the questions, to answer your curiosity, Jesus, it's very simple. This week, we are being joined by some incredible geeky royalty, and I've been eagerly looking forward to an excuse to open with a medieval theme. In all seriousness, our guest this week is actually known around the globe as one true Nerd King. You've no doubtably seen him on one of your favorite social media platforms or on his YouTube channel, Comics and Chaos. He is Mr. Phil Taylor. Phil, welcome to the show.
Guys, dude, fantastic intro. And Jake, I have to say, you guys are the first ones to understand the one true Nerd King. The one true King of the North. That was exactly where it came from. Everybody else was just like, your name's so long, I don't understand. Why is it so long? Like, well, there's a lot of fucking Nerd Kings out there, for one. Like, and two, when I created it, Game of Thrones was still pretty hot, bro. So it seemed to fit at the time, you know. So yeah, that was that. I'm just impressed you guys got that as soon as you started going with it, and you're just like, wait, for this, somebody gets me, guys.
I don't want to say your name was the only reason why I invited you on, but it was a significant.
Hey, you found the tribe, man. We're big, Game of Thrones fans, and then also you were there at the Battle of the Bearded Bastards, so we had to have you on as well.
Our people have to stay together, my friend. You know,
I am always outnumbered on this show. It seems like I am always the one without the beard. I've tried; it doesn't grow in, guys. I've tried.
Mine doesn't grow well at all either. I just keep on trying. I'm in my 40s now. It's just at this point, I'm just lazy.
It looks healthy. Yeah, it looks nice. Looks groomed. I mean, it is. Jesus's beard is known around the world. Like, it is a famous beard. So I don't think anybody should ever come in trying to compete with his beardness. But
no, I'm not.
In general, as the one true Nerd King, it is very rightfully so that you would have a healthy beard yourself. So congrats to everybody
appreciate
except
it.
for me.
And it's an honor being here, guys. I just want to say that I do sincerely appreciate the invite. Sincerely, I love doing these and getting to meet new people, especially because I feel like sometimes this is the best way to actually get to know people. I mean, you can always chat in the DMs, but it's that banter, is the ability to, hear little intonations, see the facial expressions, and you're kind of like, are they really entertained with me right now, or like, are we really laughing at each other's jokes right now? Is this actually happening, or is it just like the haha LOL?
Exactly. Is it a real LOL? Did he really laugh out loud, or did he just type it out and say,
or you just take the deep breath? Is that because that's basically the LOL nowadays, right? It's that little.
God, they don't. They need an abbreviation for the I don't know, the exhale laugh, something like that.
Yeah, right. That little.
Somebody should pioneer it out there.
That's the closest it gets nowadays.
No, we very much wanted to have you on. With the reason we started the podcast a long time ago, Jesus and I, we met on Instagram, became friends, and we started in the DMs. We started by message each other back and forth, and then the messages were too long, and Instagram couldn't handle them. So we were like, we got to move over to text messages. So then we went to text, and then at one point, I believe I was driving, and I was trying to send Jesus a text, which is unhealthy. I understand. Don't do it, everybody. And at one point, I was like, can I just give you a call? And he was like, yeah, man, I guess so. That's fine. And the podcast began, basically. And so we've met a lot of individuals through Instagram, you being one of them, Phil, and it just seemed like a natural timing to have you on. And so, like, literally, this is almost 2 years to the day. I went back and looked pretty close to when we had your co-host, Rage Theo, was on our show almost 2 years to the day. So very convenient, like, I don't know, serendipitous timing, because we didn't intentionally do it that way.
It's good to see you're moving up in class. I'm really glad to see like you guys raising the bar finally. Because I mean, no, I love Theo. He's honestly probably my closest friend, and so yeah, that's awesome. In 2 years, that's crazy, man. Congratulations for this many episodes and for that long going. That's amazing, guys. So kudos to you. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, we haven't decided.
Clap. I hope you're clapping.
Oh,
If you're listening,
somebody needs to clap.
Be clapping, people. Clap for these guys.
At least a golf clap. At least a golf clap. At least.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing for our 100 yet, but we are coming up. We only have actually one more episode outside of this. We have 2 episodes before Christmas, including this one. So after this episode, we'll only have one more to go, and then we're taking a short break. All you listeners out there, we warned everybody about this, Jesus, right? We told everybody, but we are taking a break. But don't worry, everybody. We are going to be back in January. Yes, we gave you the warnings. We are taking a breather. We are going to be back in January, and we're 16 more weeks of episodes. Jesus, what are we running? Like we're doing like late January, and we're going to have 16 weeks, which will take us until like mid-May, something like that.
Yeah, end of April or mid-May, just depending on when we get started. Either end of January, beginning of February. And we're only saying that because we do have some nice guests that we're lining up for you guys to hear their growl tales as well. So yes, we're gonna take a little break, and like we mentioned several times, we let you guys know. So don't come at me, come at Jake, please.
Yeah, exactly. And
much better guests than today too. Much better guests, guys. So
definitely,
just give me a chance. Give me 5 more minutes, and then come back next week. So it's okay.
That said, we should talk a little bit more about Phil and what Phil does, because Jesus and I have been following you, of course, for now years on Instagram is where we found you. And yeah, no, it's okay. We're loyal followers, but your Instagram, something we talked about even before we turned the mics on here, was just how it's grown immensely, but then just the way that the content has grown as well. Because when we met and when we originally started following and talking, you were much more centered around comic books. It seemed like. And you do a lot of memes, actually some of the best memes that get shared all over the internet within the nerd culture. But now you've really broadened that spectrum to all nerd culture, right? Like you're doing a lot of Star Wars. You're doing, a lot of everything. I'm assuming I haven't looked. Did you do anything for Godzilla yet? It seems like Godzilla is eating everything alive.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My account's gone through a lot of different iterations and growth patterns. And the major reason for the shifts and changes were, number one, I was doing like news updates and things every day, visual, audio, visual, throwing up backgrounds, doing things with Cover Price, with the Elite, with KRS, with a bunch of different sponsors, and a bunch of different things. And it was a lot of fun. It was super time consuming, right? When you've got to throw up something for a different sponsor every single day, all of a sudden it becomes much less fun. And I legit burned out.
Yep. Like
I hated getting online and doing things. And I know that it didn't help my account in any way, shape, or form, because a couple of my friends logged in, and they would send me a message and they were just like, "We can tell you're not having fun, Phil." Like, you look annoyed right now. Like, because I had my own shows going on Instagram. I was really hammering it hard. I was just cracking 10,000, just starting to get into the 11,000 range, to be in that, in our communities, in that more elite level of creation. And, I don't sell comic books directly. Yes, some people do know me as Rage Theo's sidekick on a lot of these big sales that we do, where we go out to collections and we help them clear out tons and tons of books for 3-4 days. But I don't sell books myself. I do not have an income stream from Instagram in any way, shape, or form. I do believe in responsible collecting, and I do try and move a little thing here or there, but it's usually with DMs in groups that I'm in, like, "Hey, I got these. Anybody want?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Cool." I'm not a person that sells on my account. And that being the case, I knew that I had really reached kind of the top level of comics in the comic community on Instagram, right? In the collectors field like us. Because once you hit that between 8 to 11K, I think like 2,000 of those, people are pretty much dead accounts from the COVID era. 20% are missing in action now. They've all gone away. But at any rate, I knew if I had to grow, I needed to talk about other things. And to be honest, comic books were a thing, but it was not the thing for me. I am a much bigger Star Wars, Star Trek nerd. As Theo says, if it has the word star in it, fills into it. Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Star Wars, I'm just starting now a re-binge of the Battlestar Galactica series with my daughter. And, we just finished the first set of DVDs. So I am an all around nerd. Ask any woman that's ever dated me. They will tell you. Yeah, he's all around nerd.
Can we get a list of those names, by the way? We do want to go and start asking them questions.
Right? Nobody, no comments. But yeah, so I opened it up to all collecting, right? And to do that, it's taken some time, but I'm mostly still kind of, as I'm developing content, I've got a couple new collaborators I'm working with, and a couple new product lines that I'm going to start to work with as well. Because again, I'm doing this to work towards creating some form of revenue in this scenario without it being some kind of direct sale, of comics and that kind of scenario. So that being the case, it had to expand. And so I started using things like memes and doing short, funny things, usually at the expense of myself, because that's kind of how I run. That's my humor. But self-deprecation till I die. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but it's mostly changed dramatically into that realm. I had an accidental reel. It was the Alien versus Predator thing, 27 million views. It's and now, I've got over 45 different reels with over 1 million views. And a lot of them, and probably at least a dozen over 10 million views. So that was always kind of the rule, right? Where it was like, if you can do it once, cool. If you can do it twice, all right. And that's when I started doing it consecutively. Like, okay, this is a thing. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going with it. So it's weird. I've gotten some pretty high profile followers out of it. And I'm.
Do you have a brag? What's your brag follower? The one where you're like, hey, this person's following me.
Well, I'm sure you guys all know President Camacho, Terry Crews.
Oh, nice.
You know, Terry follows me.
That's awesome.
Just today, I'll show you. I got a new follower today. You will know him as a Star Wars person if you know, if you know, you know. But Paul Hyung Sung Lee, he's Appa from let me see here, from Kim's Convenience. And
yeah.
He just followed me today.
Nice.
So yeah, my camera is focusing too much on my face. Maybe if I
Yep.
So he's followed me today. I've got
that's awesome.
I've got a couple people from Food Network, you know, so the foodies, Alton Brown and stuff like that. So yeah, there's just other power nerds out there in the community. They just enjoy the jokes. And so yeah, I've gotten a couple of different people showing up recently, but it's been very recently. This has been within the last 90 days. I mean, I've gone from 14,000 to now 67,000, I think, as of this morning, in the last 4 months. So it's been moving quickly.
Yeah. So I'm one of those followers that followed you from the beginning, man. Just so you know, I've been following you since before all this stuff. I'm an OG, and so I'm an original. Yeah, I would see your stuff on there, and I would see your stuff on my feed because I followed you, you know. And then the other day, I was just on the explore page. You know how you're just going through the stuff, and I saw the Star Wars one with the smoke, and I was like, oh man, this one's pretty dope. But you can't tell, like, when you're just scrolling who it is, and I look at it and it's you. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? Something's going on here. And I look at it, and it's like 7 million views or something like that. I'm like, damn, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, man, congratulations, man. You've been putting in the work, you've been grinding, and you've been, making this stuff for us to laugh. I remember laughing at the alien one too in the shower. It was a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. Your feed is a lot of fun, man. So thank you for
that's
giving
all
me
it's
some
meant
joy.
to be, dude. Life sucks right now, right? Everybody's got things going on. We're all old. We're all parents now. The economy's all over the place. There's stuff going on all over the world, and everybody's complaining about too much of this in movies or not enough of that in this, and cancel so and so, whatever it may be. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? I can't have any of that. It's just going to be something silly, something funny. And that's kind of what I stick to. The comments, people will take it there anyways. Once you hit a certain level, there's always somebody just like, this is the most Trump or Biden thing ever. And, and then everybody's just like, oh, rage, in the comments underneath. And you're just kind of like, guys, it was a Smurfs meme, really?
Yeah. Alien would never slip like that. That would never happen to Alien. Come on.
Exactly, right? Exactly. It's like, what the Empire is a model for, right? It's American colonial, and everybody's just like, that's the one thing that I don't like about after kind of getting to certain points and pieces is I am starting to get a lot more of the casual outrage clan of just like, and I'm mad today. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Mute. I'm here for the funsies.
The casual outrage clown. Is that's a COC, right?
Man, that needs to be a shirt, man.
I think that's what you you gotta I won't say it. I was gonna say the abbreviated, but no, you just avoid the casual outrage clown. I
agree, and I won't do that to the channel either. I'll keep my language I'll keep PG-13. I get one F-bomb, okay, somewhere in this.
You know, it's not that we're opposed to the swearing and the F-bombs. We've had, if you're familiar with Chris Vancouver Comic Junkie, he is notorious for dropping so many F-bombs. I think he led an episode with it one time when he was on our show. So it was, don't worry, you're not going to offend anybody. It's one of those things for some reason unwritten. Jesus and I don't always do it that often. Anyway, but if I do drop an F-bomb, it's because I'm really serious about something.
Oh yeah, it's usually the same thing for me. Unfortunately, my parents are religious listeners and watchers of everything I do, so I know they'll be watching. Like, my mom will show up and like that day you said that word again, Philip. You know, it happens every time, bro. So I have to be careful.
It's a good,
but yeah, no. It's been a great evolution. Really trying to get more into just broader collecting in general, right? So no, I'm not just talking about comics. I'm talking about Legos. I'm talking about not really pops, but sometimes pops, action figures, helmets, toys, and I'm starting to dabble in shoes. Nice. So you know, it's nice. It is definitely, though, like, I'm not getting Jordans. I'm getting the Dr. Dooms. I'm getting the Spider-Man 2s. I'm getting, you know, it's things like that, right? That are definitely still in our wheelhouse of nerddoms and fandoms, right? I like to keep it in that realm. I'm not like talking like baseball cards and sports, things like that. It's all still fandom based.
Nice. Well, I think it's a must follow as far as accounts go on Instagram. You're branching out and you're on Threads, and then you've got the YouTube show going as well. All of which I follow, all of which I think is good content worth following.
I appreciate it sincerely. Definitely a lot of new content coming in the new year. I've been doing a lot of pre-records. I've got some new partners I've picked up. Getting a little bit more back to news and some educational stuff as well to pepper in here with in between my memes as far as things go. But yeah, it was all a part of a plan to kind of get the account juiced and the algorithm going. And I've had a lot of one-on-one time with the people at Instagram, and that's one thing too, right? Where once you start to consecutively have these posts that start to get consistent love, right? I believe it's like after your 10th over 2 to 3 million post kind of situation, they'll reach out like, hey, I'm so-and-so from Instagram. We would like to talk to you. How would you like a free hour session and conversation about your account? And it's just like, duh, yes, I would love to talk about my account. And, you know, a month later they get back to you, and
yeah.
but you know, then they set up these meetings, and you get the opportunity then to go to these creator events, and some of them are online, some are in person, I know, but like the last ones have been about Threads and the impact of Threads and the integrations coming with Threads, especially with Instagram. So if you're not there, but you're trying to grow on Instagram, they know that you're not on Threads. So it's simple. And if you've used Twitter, you're familiar with its abilities, but it does have more abilities on the way, like a podcast or like going live. You hit go live, it automatically posts to your threads, things of that nature, scheduling your threads too. So if you wanted to, you could say like, hey, we're going to be going live tomorrow night. You can type all those things in and have it automatically drop at certain times of the day over the next, you know, XYZ number of days. So it's got a lot of cool stuff coming, but I know you didn't come to have me get doofy on social media. There's probably a lot of people here who's like, we don't care.
I genuinely think a lot of people do. I know that there's plenty of people out there that are, we have a lot of conversations with other podcasters who are within the same space, who are looking at abandoning Twitter completely. Everybody wants, that's the funny thing. I don't know anybody who actually wants to be on Twitter. They all want to abandon it, but they all have all their followers over there. And
they put in a lot of work.
Yeah, tons of work. You said that we didn't have you on to talk about it, but you know a lot about it. And with as many followers and what you're doing over on social media, I don't know anybody that's listening that doesn't have a social media account. If you are listening that don't have a social media account, hit us up on Instagram and tell us why.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Or
If
on
you need
threads.
help,
Or on threads.
if you need help, shoot me a DM. I don't mind. I help a lot of my friends with their social media posts. And not to embarrass anyone, I won't name names, but yeah, people frequently send me text messages. They send me DMs daily. Like, what do you think about this? Would this be good? Like, zoom in. Oh yeah, use the zooms. Like, they like to see the movement of the face in there. This community has done things for me that I can't express, and I can't get into tremendous stories on because we don't have that kind of time, but I like to help. And so when people ask, I'm always happy to give it. So if anybody's got a question, obviously, but I am a firm 100% believer that you never put your eggs in one basket. I don't care if there's only 5 followers on Blue Sky, 20 on Threads, and 30,000 on Twitter. Still put stuff on Blue Sky and still put stuff on Threads. Because when things happen like is happening right now at Twitter, and we don't know what's going to go with it and what direction it's going to end up in at the end of the day, you'll still have those 30,000 there. But if it completely tanks because you were just too, I just don't even want to bother reposting. Well, shame on you when you lose everything. And it potentially goes away. And that could happen with anything. It could just go down just for going down, right? I remember the day that Instagram went down. Remember last year around this time, Instagram started getting really dicey, where it would go down for like a 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, like a whole day, then one time. And I just remember thinking to myself, and this is why we made a YouTube. My YouTube channel came from that. My TikTok came from that, because I learned the lesson that even though, yes, the following isn't as big there, I still have connections that I've built, relationships I've built, people I've met, people that have come from that social media platform to join me on other platforms. It's still worth it. Even if you're just reposting your things, it's still 100% worth it. And I believe there's an app out there, and I can't remember its name. I'll get it and I'll get it to you guys, but it automatically can repost your content for you. It's a schedulable, and it's not, and I'm not talking about Hootsuite. I'm talking about an app that actually rips all the watermarks off of things. It looks at your posts, it sees what's doing good, and it, like in an AI way, will help you schedule what's best for your other platforms. So, there's lots of help out there. There's lots of great tools. And if you're interested, I'm always here to help. It doesn't cost anything. Shoot me a DM. I'm always around. I like conversations. Just don't be mean.
Yeah.
Don't be mean.
Don't insult Phil and then ask for his help. You may not get it.
You can insult me. I take that very well. It's that's the Midwesterner in me. We'll just still say thank you. But it's the
I know, right? I get the same thing. I do that all the time.
It's like, it doesn't matter what's going on. They're like, oh, you did such a great job. And you're just like, no, I didn't. I couldn't have. There's no way I could do it. Like, we're the ones that randomly say sorry for every sentence starting, It's like you walk into a room, sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to see if anybody was in here. Same. I apologize for apologizing sometimes. And which, Phil, I don't know if you're aware, I'm from Nebraska, so that is very Midwest. Jesus is from Texas, where they don't apologize for anything.
No, we just shoot people.
No. But Phil, we do.
If we're offended, there's a body. That's the only way you do. Like, body's on the ground, like, oh, offended somebody.
Yeah. There you go.
Phil, we really do appreciate all of the insight and all of the expertise that you shared. That is extremely generous of you. So thank you very much for sharing that. We do, however, we've got a few segments we have to get into. I think we should start off with this one.
Recent pickups.
That's right, the recent pickups segment. This is the one where we're going to talk about something we recently read, picked up, or just a collectible that we've gathered in since last episode. And for Phil, anything recent for you. Jesus, you traditionally kick us off. So what do you got?
All right, man. I had the pleasure of going to an independent or indie Comic-Con here in Houston, here locally, on Saturday. Very small space. It was actually only from I think 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it had some I guess a lower window of hours for a normal convention. And I was kind of describing it to my buddies as what it was. Is it wasn't necessarily a comic convention necessarily, but a comic convention like an industry, because it was a lot of writers, it was a lot of artists, it was a lot of people, adjacent publishers or some publishers there. There was people selling some wares like 3D printed, dragons, eggs, stuff like that, stuff for the holidays, trinkets, jewelry, things of that nature. But I honestly feel that they were there because the space that it was in was a space. It was like a long hallway with different storefronts. And so I'm assuming that because they had it there, they invited the storefronts there to sell their wares since it's in their building, right? But overall, it was mainly, local indie writers, indie artists, which I got a chance to meet a bunch of people. Some people that have been mentioned on our podcast, Nick Pitara, who wrote Axwood John, one of the persons that has a credit on there as a colorist was there. His name is Ken. Got to meet him, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, a bunch of people. And from there, I picked up two things. Which one I was like pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised on both of them. But the first one, and I haven't read these. Like I'm excited to read them. But the first one I was pleasantly surprised because I have been seeing this all over my Twitter. And I didn't know this guy was local. And he is local. And I got a chance to pick up the book there. And it's called Bro D Can't Be Broke, a graphic novella by Ben Hammernink. And it's from Band of Bards.
Okay.
So it's something different. The way he made it, he said it's like a European style on the one that he had there. Whenever you see them out in the wild, they're going to be in regular comic book formatting. So these are a little bit different. That's why I wanted to get it. But yeah, so this was a Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken, and it got funded through Band of Bards. So it's a really cool book. Really excited to read it. The artwork is pretty cool.
Is it a different size? Is it a slightly larger format, Jesus?
Yeah, so like this is a comic book right here.
It's modern. So it's not quite magazine, but it's not quite modern. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's pretty wide.
Dope, dude.
Pretty cool. Yeah. So that's the first one. So shout out to Ben. Got a chance to meet him. Really nice guy, really down to earth. Shared a lot of stuff. He's written books like without pictures associated with them. So really, really nice guy.
Real books with all words, right?
Yeah, just words. You have to imagine the pictures in your mind, Jake. So I had a chance to meet him. He was a really nice guy. Go out and follow him, Ben Hammernink. Bro D Can't Be Broken, Band of Bards. And then the second one, which this is so funny, man. This is called Dead or Alive. It's from the publisher Red 5 Comics. Red 5 Comics was there. The script was by Scott Chitwood, who is the actual publisher of Red 5 Comics. Art by Alonso Ruiz, letters by Troy Pateri, colors by Gary Henderson and Ivan Placencia, cover art by Matt Bush and Alfonso Ruiz. So let me just tell you something, guys. You guys know when you guys meet somebody and they're a natural born salesperson.
Yeah, I've been there.
This guy Chitwood is a natural born salesperson in a good way, not in the, sales, what is it called? Like a car salesman, used car salesman kind of way, but in a good way where he's listening to you, what you like, what you don't like. And guess who he sold this to? He didn't sell this to me. This is a zombie book. He sold it to my 9-year-old twins. And you can sell to them a zombie book, which they really don't like that much scary stuff, but they were really excited to see about this. And I mean, it's like when two down on their luck cowboys capture the most wanted outlaw in the West, they get more than they bargained for when they discover a Comanche shaman has infected him with an ancient zombie virus. Now, with an undead outlaw in tow, they must race across Texas to claim the reward. If the zombie doesn't kill them, the Comanche or rival bounty hunters or other outlaws will. So, pretty interesting premise. Pretty cool zombie book from Red 5 Comic Publishing. And really cool artwork, too, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see the artwork on here.
Yeah, it looks solid. So it's a zombie you can't run away, because, most of the time it's like, zombies, they're so slow, you can just run away from it. But this is a zombie they have to keep. Man, that's... Yeah,
and they don't know about zombies. Like, they don't know he has a zombie thing. And as they're going across Texas, he's slowly turning into a zombie as well. So, yeah, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, Red 5 Comics, Dead or Alive. So those are my 2 recent pickups. Indie books. I'll go where the stories are, whether it's indie, whether it's Image, whether it's DC, Marvel, whether it's a magazine. If they have good stories, man, I'm going to read them. So those are my recent pickups for this week.
Very nice. Very nice. Hey, Zeus, really glad that you went with some indie comics on this. I'm going to actually give you a pretty big boost with your recent pickups tater tot results here. I'm going to go ahead and give you 3.5 tots for that recent pickup segment. Nice work on it. Very good job. Phil, you're not
Stop
familiar.
the count.
What's that?
Stop the count. Stop it right now.
Phil, for you who is not privy to this, every week we do recent pickups, and every week we give away a number of 3, however many out of 5 tater tots based on how good your recent pickup is. And then at the end, whoever has the most tots wins that week. So it's a tough competition on a weekly basis. You never know who's going to win.
Napoleon, give me your tots. Get your own tots.
Oh, we haven't talked about that. Maybe I should give some to Phil right now, preemptively, to make sure that Jake doesn't win.
I might need them. My pickups are a lot more random, guys. They're a lot more random.
Well, you're up, Phil. So what do you got?
Oh. Okay, well, my newest pickup.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Oh man, that's dope. That's awesome.
We're looking
Avengers
at
Tower.
Avengers Tower, everybody. The Legos.
Avengers Tower Lego.
Oh my god.
Yeah, guys, 5,200 and what? 201 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the largest minifig.
I was gonna say
set.
there's a few
Wow.
exclusive ones in there too, right?
There's just one.
Oh,
It's just one.
which one?
Kevin Feige.
Oh, Kevin Feige. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Kevin, come on.
Now, like my Daily Bugle and my other stuff. Yeah, much more exclusives. But yeah, I've that's there. I mean, because I've got like if it comes to like Grail Lego characters, I got a couple of Grail Lego characters. But I got that. I have some new shoes. Let's see here. Whoops. The Adidas Dr. Dooms.
Nice.
Right?
Those are
So you can
nice.
see Doom on the inside there a little bit. And yeah, so those
Those are nice.
and the Spider-Man 2s.
Dude.
Oh, those are nice
So
too.
you can see the venomization
Yeah.
and the 3D printed sole. And
Oh,
it's
is that
all
what
fabric.
is that what that is? I didn't know that. That's what. Those are awesome. They're venomized, basically.
Yeah. They're these are dope, super comfortable, love them. And yeah, those are, I mean, so my Lego set, those are some of them. And my more recent happy one is my screen accurate special Grogu. This is customized by a friend of mine with an Etsy shop, the pink Yoda. And what she does is she completely repaints them, redoes the eyes, does all the parts and pieces to make them actually like screen accurate. Because the other ones you look at, they're just like flat plastic, green, sharp green. But I mean, you can see the details and the eyes.
Absolutely.
You can see the hair on the
That's
little
awesome.
guy. It's freaking ridiculous, right?
That is the amount of detail on that thing. It looks like it's coming to life in front of me right now on the screen.
I know, right? It's just kind of like you just want to see it grab the little microphone and just like take a ball off of it and throw it somewhere. Yeah. So so this is the responsible collector in me, right? So I have 30 short boxes of comics in the closet behind me, my closet of shame, right? But I do know that it is better to recycle your collectible money as opposed to just constantly just pouring more and more into it, because that's where it can get to affect your family, affect your ability to pay bills. It can affect so many different things. And it gives me the ability to have opportunities like this. Like, yes, some of these things I get from people that want me to post stuff about it, right? Some of those things got to be free, which is a benefit, but that's not out there for everybody. But when it comes to the things I do pay for, I sell my comics for that. And it's kind of now, it's kind of diversifying my collection, right? All of a sudden, I'm not tied up in just one genre of collecting. I'm using it still to keep things that I really like for myself and, keep on turning that into things. And sometimes I'll sell Legos for comics. It's, nice. It always pans out well.
That's really cool, dude. And that Grogu, I'm still thinking about that. Yeah. Does she do Mogwais, by the way, like from Gremlins? She could totally do a Mogwai.
No, she is straight up just this, but I'll mention it to her. I'm sure she's thought about it. She's the only person that does this. I mean, I looked around too, because it just seemed like, oh, that's a duh. Why isn't anybody? And she is 100% the entire market. The entire market. Yeah. Wow. Highly recommend though. Highly recommend. That's definitely the most talented, almost, it's like a piece of, it is art in of itself. Every single one of these Grogu's are different. So every time she does a drop, she only drops like 5 or 7 of them. And they're expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they're the $30 that you would get.
Yeah, but the amount of work that she puts into it, of course.
Exactly. That's just it. She spends days on each one of these guys, putting in every single hair follicle, redoing the paint, the different layers, the eyes, the hands, the whole thing. She redoes the entire character. So yeah, super impressed. So yes, the Pink Yoda on Instagram, if you are interested, heinously recommend.
Very cool. Well, I gotta say, I mean, Avengers Tower, you got the Baby Yoda or Grogu. I mean, and the shoes, right? And the shoes. I'm gonna have to go with 4.5 tots. 4.5 tater tots. You beat Jesus by a whole tot. He doesn't have to give you any. You might have to give him one.
I forgot about this. Does this count?
Oh my God.
Oh, nice.
Got the Mandalorian helmet coming in, folks.
Yeah. That does that help at all? My head's too small for it.
Listen, you're already at 4.5 out of 5 tots. I mean, if you're pushing,
I won't take any.
If you're thinking that Mandalorian helmet will get you to 5 tots, you, sir, would be right. So
sorry, Jesus, it's not your week, bro.
It never is.
It never is, man. But no, as an indie collector, I love that. I am an indie first guy. I do like Marvel and DC, but I am 100%, like you said, you go where the story is. And some of the best storytelling in comics, hands down, is happening in the indie space. 100%.
Oh, it is. It's so good right now. I genuinely think that we are in a peak point for indie comics. I think that, and I think that it's just really emerging right now. I think that there were some predecessors, in my opinion. I personally would love, Something Is Killing the Children was a huge zeitgeist event for indie comics, especially for Boom. In my opinion, putting Boom on the map. I didn't read a lot of Boom before. I know there are Power Rangers and a lot of other stuff, but Something Is Killing the Children really did that for me. Ice Cream Man was a huge one. Ultra Mega was huge for me. And you could also go back to The Walking Dead and Invincible, but like the moment we're in right now, it seems like every week there are new creator-owned comics that are just blowing the doors off of everybody. And I think, you know what? That's creating a healthy competition. And the big two, they need to work harder. In my opinion, they need to work harder. I keep seeing these writers going on and off projects. Doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency, or artists where you're reading through a specific series and you're like, oh, the art for the first few were great. And then this one, what happened? And I think that happens. You don't see that happen with the indie most of the time, because the artist is continuous, because the artist is a co-creator half the time on these indie comics, which, yeah, I mean, that is why I think we're getting such good stuff right now, because the artists and the writers really give a damn when they own the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the Kickstarters too, like with things like that, especially because I do, and it's a hot take. It's something controversial. Not a lot of collectors like it, at least modern collectors like it when I say this, but I do consider it a big three. I do consider Image up there with the other guys now. You know, I mean, they've got a connected universe, folks. I mean, it's they've been around for, I think they're coming up on their 40th anniversaries eventually here. I know we've already got their 30th out of the way, but I mean, you know, it's like we're coming up on, well, no, I think we're coming up on
they've got a little bit before their 40th, but yeah, we're coming up on their 30th, right?
Yeah, we're coming up on their 30th. Yeah. So I forget how old I am sometimes. But yeah, it's sometimes I think I'm older. No, I just do feel like Image is another big publisher now. Yeah. Like to me in indie, I mean, I even have a hard time sometimes thinking about Boom as an indie publisher, because I think about friends that are self-publishing out there, like, you know, like Stranger Comics, like my friends, like my friend Corey, who's just got done doing the Codex. You know, I see a lot of people on Kickstarter, so I spend a lot of time on the Kickstarters trying to learn those and meet those guys. But you know, all the way to anybody that's really just getting their stuff out there is amazing and fantastic. But yeah, hot take, I consider Image almost now like I consider like a big three, because they're just so huge. Like if you make it, you know you're going to get it everywhere. You know, it's not like it's not a roll of the dice to see if the shops are going to bring it in. You know, it's an Image comic. It's the number one. We're going to have it there. You know, that's just, it's just Bible for places.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost a requirement. Interestingly enough, I do have, for my recent pickup, I do have an indie comic as well, and it is it's a Dark Horse comic. It is Canary. So this has been out for a couple of weeks now, 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly. One of my favorite writers. This is Scott Snyder. I like to read a lot of what he does. And in this particular case, this takes Scott Snyder back to the Western, which was a big favorite of mine, especially early on in American Vampire. American Vampire starts out as a Western. And really, I love, that's one of my favorite things about it, how it weaves into different time periods and the story changes and the art really adapts to that as well. But I have to say, I miss, like when I reminisce about reading American Vampire for the first time, the time period that always calls back to me the most is the Western. And this brings Scott Snyder back to the Western, which is incredible. And the artist is Dan Panosian. Panosian, excuse me. I apologize for mispronouncing that. But Dan Panosian, which I was not familiar with, am not familiar with beyond this particular artwork. But this is, I mean, so it's a Western, but like everything Snyder does really well, it's a Western and a horror at the same time. And he weaves genres together so damn well that it's just ridiculous. I'll show a little bit of art here. The art is honestly kind of reminiscent of where it was at for American Vampire, but the colors in this are phenomenal. And I should find the colorist here because the coloring needs to be commented on. Oh, well, that would be because Dan Panosian did the colors as well. So, so artwork all together.
You learn something new every time on this show, even the hosts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Well, we stumble over ourselves until we learn something new every week for sure. Or Jake does. But that's my recent pickup. I highly recommend it for everybody. I know that we have had. I think like a couple of listeners have commented.
Like 2 tots.
What? How many
1
tots?
tot maybe.
No.
Maybe.
We've had a couple of listeners actually recommended because I think they know how much I like Snyder as well. I'm going to go ahead and say this is a clear cut 3.5 tots for me as well. And so that's going to put Jesus and I at we're just real tight. It's close. Phil, you win with 5 tots. Congratulations to you. Jesus and I are going to both take the L this week, but we're between Jesus and I, we're locked up.
were you guys doing tots when Theo was on here?
No, the tots has been a recent development. So the real quick backstory is our listeners, we call them spectators. And at one point, somebody came up with the idea of, I honestly don't remember who, but yeah, the spectator tots. And then it just turned
That's
into
the epitome of a dad joke thing, guys. Somebody had a kid.
Yeah, we
who came up with that one.
We've taken it to the extreme though, because we have this is our mascot. This is JJ. He's a spectator tot, and JJ dresses up like a lot of so this is JJ dressed up as Peacemaker.
Nice.
JJ dresses up like Millhouse. We've got a lot of JJ dresses.
Batman.
Yeah, we got Batman.
Hell yeah.
JJ dresses up as a lot of different. He cosplays. So yeah, so the tater tots have kind of overrun the show in the last year.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure that it's on the record though that I have 5 out of 5 tots. So Theo, even though it wasn't being done at that time, he's lost.
He has no tots.
Yeah,
he has no tots.
0 tots.
Theo has no tots. Phil has 5 tots. Okay,
we'll have to make sure that we remind. You know what? We're gonna clip this.
Please.
We'll clip it
this.
and we're going to send it to Theo just so that he knows that unfortunately he was awarded 0 tots for his episode with us.
No tots, Theo. You have no tots. No game. No tots, bro. No tots.
He may have to come back and
you know what? He'll save up things just specifically to do that. But the best part is he can only ever tie me now. He can't beat me.
Fair point. The fair point to you. Well, he's going to have to work hard to tie it. This is the first script
Stan Lee ever wrote.
That was the whole reason why that was the whole reason why I brought out the Mandalorian helmet. I'm just like, maybe if you gave me 4.5, maybe I'll get an extra half for this, so that way.
You did it, sir. You did it. Amazing.
I am petty, guys. Okay, if you know anything about me, I am petty AF.
It's just it's that Midwestern competitiveness. You have it.
If you know, you know.
Listen, he beats me at everything else. I need one thing. Okay, give me my one. I'm going to be able to say like,
more
I'm going to make a
tots.
T-shirt. 5 tots, no tots.
Well, we got to keep this train rolling, and that means we got to get to the next segment.
Grail Tale. Grail Tale. Grail Tale. Grail Tale. Grail Tale.
That's right, the Grail Tale segment. We're going to ask Phil here to grace us with his Grail Tale, which can be any collectible or something of meaning to you within the collectible world. What is your Grail, right? Your house is burning down. You can save one thing beyond your family, of course. What are you saving?
What am I saving? If I could grab one collectible out of here. Well, I mean, I know, but the one thing I would have is an emotional thing.
Of course.
So that would be a little toy that was my daughter's. But I mean, like if we're talking like, like personal grails, things like that. So let me grab something here real quick. Hold on one second.
Of course.
Got 2 things really. So if this is me, this is just me. Because I can do this quick and it'll fit in my pocket. This is I gotta like take it off my face so that way you can see it. This is the Cloud City Boba Fett.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Cloud City Boba Fett.
I don't know if you know
Lego.
much about Legos, but the Cloud City Boba Fett is very rare. This was one of the first very expensive Lego sets ever made, and it was the only appearance of Boba Fett. It was the only way you could get Boba Fett in a Lego minifig for over a decade.
Wow.
Right? They never made another one for over a decade. And I got this at a Lego convention we took our daughter to. And I remember getting this probably about, she's 17. So I think she was maybe 2 at the time. And I bought this for like, I won't lie, I think I bought it for $40, right?
Wow.
it sells for like $8,000.
Yeah, I was just googling it, and googling it. Yeah, you can't find it for. You cannot find.
You'll be lucky to get it for under $4,000 to $5,000 at best. Like if it's all not chewed up, it's missing the gun, maybe it's missing a hand or something like that. Like to find it in a mint, it's been as high as 10. I've seen it, but yeah, that little Lego minifig is probably my one collectible that I will never get rid of. Right. Is like I've got some pretty sweet comics that mean things to me. Don't get me wrong. And yes. Would I want an AF-15? Oh, of course, things of that nature. It's a grail that I want. I'm probably never going to get it. But if I did, yes, I would want that. But it's that and this little guy. This was my daughter's toy through chemotherapy. So there's a whole story to that. And I'll save your listeners from having to hear that story. But this little guy is very special too. So, yeah.
I have a couple comments and questions based on your choices. So one, I'm a big Lego guy, not necessarily myself specifically, but I have twin 9-year-old boys, and those guys
big Lego guy.
are big Lego guys, man. They're big Lego guys. We have like legit trunks and trunks full of Legos, and all. I mean, we buy a lot of those Legos, right? Like So my question, I guess, you mentioned an AF-15. This is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know you're a Star Wars guy, right? You mentioned anything with stars in it. But if somebody offered you a straight up trade for an AF-15 for that Lego figure, would you do it?
I mean, just I know with the value, I could buy another Lego maybe. It's kind of like, bro. I mean, yes. I won't lie, right? Yes. I mean, this is one I found on a hunt for myself, which makes it special. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for my family, in the long run. It's an of course scenario because I could always flip it and buy 3 of them in a lower version, maybe of the AF-15 or whatever the heck it may be. I am that kind of guy when it comes to these things. Like that is probably I don't plan on buying another one. I've got my own speculation on Legos. I do. So I've got other characters that I'm banking on like that'll be coming out soon.
Oh, nice.
And I've got a drawer full of those buggers, but, I mean, Legos are the only collectible that doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Right. Legos only keep their value or they go up. They always match inflation. They always stay when they retire a set. They only go up. Legos are the most consistent collectible, and I mean, the largest drug bust in Interpol history for money laundering was trying to figure out how all this money was getting constantly moved around throughout Europe. And it was when they figured out that they weren't moving money, they were moving train boxcars full of Legos from different warehouses to different warehouses. The black market was using Legos as currency because you can take a Lego set, you can take it into Target, exchange it for cash. You can take it to a corner. You can sell it to a mom and a dad for kids that need Legos. You can take Legos anywhere. And unlike any other kind of currency, it just stays up. It doesn't go down. It doesn't matter. In worst case, as that train's running around, Lego decides to retire one of those sets a little bit more, or maybe a movie gets announced and a couple of those minifigs go up in value. It doesn't go down. Like I think I had like 3 or 4 first appearance Ahsokas before the TV show came out. And I remember about 2 weeks before the first episode, I mean, they had gone up from like $30 a minifig to 180. I think I sold a few of them for 180.
Wow.
I've got one that I kept. I don't normally spec with comics, but with Legos, I do a little bit of speculation with just the minifigs. Nice. I've got a lot of my own sets. They're all built around me, but I'll flip a minifig here too. My big spec right now is on the Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's only been produced once in Lego, and it was in the original Daily Bugle Lego set. about 10 years ago, and Dr. Doom has not been produced since. So while he may cost you $30-$40 to pick him up now, as soon as he gets announced, that one Lego minifig that was in a set that cost more than $100 for kids from Spider-Man, that a lot of kids probably that did have it have lost their Dr. Dooms by this time. There's not many of them made. That little guy is going to go up. So if we're talking like, speculation ideas, I'll just put that one in the back there. I know that's the next segment, but yes, for Grails, I would 100% do the flip. I apologize. I completely went off the rails.
No. That's we get all kinds of that's a new like Nick Pitaro put us on. Well, not put us on because we were initially put onto original comic art by like Eric Larson and Mark Waid because that was their Grails and stuff. But he kind of went into this whole zone of how to use it. Not use it, but like spec on it a little bit if you enjoy certain artists and stuff like that to get other stuff that you want to get that are like harder to come by or more expensive. And it's the same thing that you're doing right now, but with Legos. And my mind just got blown because I was like, man, I have 2 trunks full of stuff, man. I might have some bangers in there. Who knows?
We'll talk afterwards. I'd be happy to help you take a look at your stuff. I'll give you some pointers. I'll send you some websites to take a peek at because it's amazing what you can find at a garage sale, Lego bin, things of that nature. Because even at garage sales too, like people don't properly sell them. Because I mean, like you can go anywhere online, and people are selling them by their value of what they were, out of their boxes, things of that nature. It still keeps. It's not like one of our comics that can go down to 50 cents and you paid at least $4 for it, $5 for it when you picked it up the other day, and now it's worth 50 cents, 6 weeks later. It's not like that at all with Legos. And Legos go on sale too. That's the crazy thing as well, right? It's Christmas, the holidays. We don't get discounts on our comics, but you do get a discount every time you walk into a grocery store in the Lego aisle. Some things are 50% off. Some things are buy one, get one. It's Lego's good like that. It's a good diversification collectible.
For sure.
I mean, first, let me say, Phil, thank you for sharing your Grail and talking about that, because I think that's one of our favorite parts. And it is interesting. We always say that the reason we like doing the Grail Tales is everybody's Grail is different. Everybody's Grail Tale is different. And you learn a lot about individuals through asking them what their Grail is. We learn a lot about creators when we have them on and they tell us what their Grail is. And in some cases, it's something that really inspired them. So learned a lot about you, but also like it was really fun to go down that small rabbit hole there where, going all into Legos, because in the last 2 years, we have never talked about or spec'd on Legos. So thank you for taking us there. Seriously, because I genuinely found that to be extremely interesting. I was writing notes down, actual physical notes, and that's how interested I was. I took real notes. Sometimes I just act like I'm jotting down because it makes you look smart, like in class and stuff, like we all used to do. But these were real words I wrote down. Jesus, did you write any real words?
Yep, Dr. Doom Lego.
Dr. Doom Lego. eBay search. Dr. Doom Lego. Yep.
Nice.
Yep, I've got a drawer full. I've been working on that for a while. As soon as I started looking around, like thinking about sets, and the people that know me know I'm a big Fantastic Four guy, specifically a Dr. Doom guy. And as soon as I was looking around, I'm just like, I wonder if they ever made a Lego minifig. And as soon as I looked it up, yes, 10 years ago, there has never been one made since. It is a rare bird. And it's another Boba Fett in my opinion, because at the same time too, just like Boba Fett is in Star Wars, Doom is in Marvel.
Yeah.
Doom is iconic. Doom is an ever-present danger. And that to me is the epitome of what Boba Fett is. Is he going to be another $4,000, $5,000 minifig? Probably not, but you never know. So I grabbed a few,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's officially get ourselves into the next segment so that we can officially kick off the speculation.
Speculation.
That's right, the speculation segment where we're going to talk about helping the hobby pay for itself. Now, Phil here has already schooled us all. And Jesus, I'm not even sure why we're even trying here because he's already given us enough information to really kick. Everybody. We've lost all the listeners. They're all on eBay right now, all out there shopping for all their favorite Lego figures. Which I would not begrudge them at all. If I weren't recording this, I'd be doing that too. That said, though, Jesus, I'm going to let you go first on this.
All right, man. So I have some interesting speculation. I've been thinking about this for a while, and this franchise is kind of hitting the zeitgeist right as we speak, and they did it in a weird way because it was kind of confusing to an extent. And Phil, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. It was foreshadowing, and I'm talking about none other than Godzilla, or Gojira as he's also known, right? So how did it hit the zeitgeist? Well, one, Apple TV put out a show, right, called Godzilla, and what is it, something about?
No, it's called Monarch.
Monarch. Yeah, Monarch.
It's a great show.
Yes, it's a great, exactly. See, all three of us are really enjoying this show. I really enjoy the show. My older kids really enjoy the show. And then at the same time, we get what some people are saying, and some people in this recording have, I think, even seen it twice, if I'm not mistaken. Godzilla -1, right? Which
yes.
People are saying that it might be a masterpiece or the best version of Godzilla. And I've been wanting to see it. I haven't had a chance to see it. I really enjoyed Shin Godzilla in 2016. I want to see this movie. I've been wanting to see this movie. I'm going to go see this movie. So Godzilla is in the zeitgeist. And so I am saying it's only going to go up from here. We're excited about the next Godzilla, the mainstream one that's coming as well. So my speculation is not the Marvel Godzilla, which there is one Marvel Godzilla here, but the real Godzilla, the first time he hit our shores in comic book format. And it's not even what you think. So, for example, the first time he was ever in a comic book is Life with Archie number 41 from 1965. And he's unnamed in a panel, and he's fighting Mothra, I believe. So that's the first time he was introduced to American audience in a comic book format, in a comic book. The second time was a little bit later in Monster Madness number.
Yep.
Madness number 2, which is a magazine, and it's also, but it's like in pictures and photos. And that's the second time. The third time, which is also a rare, it still like hasn't been confirmed or denied, is Godzilla versus Megalon from 1973 or 76, I'm sorry, or 75, I don't remember. And it's a 4-page promotional comic that was given out if you want to go watch the movie or something of that nature. And there's also a possibility that a 1973 version of that same comic exists that was given out as promotion as well. So those are the 3 times before the Marvel book that came out that everybody knows and loves, with the red cover, the awesome cover. That's really cool as well. So if you want that book, that's great. I mean, I still want that book. That's a great book to have as well. But these are also some other earlier appearances of Godzilla in comic books. And I'm specking on those only because, like I mentioned, I think it's hitting another level right now. It's just Godzilla's hitting another level with Monarch, with -1, and then with the movie that comes out next year. I think it's next year.
Yeah, it's
Godzilla versus Kong looks hot. Godzilla and Kong. Excuse me.
Last one was verse.
They're together.
Yeah.
Yes, cyberpunk. I'm going to probably make a meme about this, but it's a very cyberpunk look for him too. I mean, like
Kong's
got like a metal hand,
a gauntlet. Yeah.
Godzilla's got like a neon pink, purple, kind of like going on in the background. I'm like, this is the most cyberpunk shit I've ever seen in the freaking Motu ever.
Yeah.
So
but it looks badass. It does. Godzilla is definitely hitting the zeitgeist right now, and whether it was planned, I have no idea. But the fact that, because the trailer just dropped, so how all of these coincided when they seem, well, I know that Monarch is being produced by the same company doing the feature length, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those two go together, but the Godzilla -1, is its
That's a
own,
Toho production. It's completely independent of that.
Yeah. Now, if they had produced that and they knew Monarch was coming out, timing wise, like producers are smart. They know when these things are coming out. That like simultaneously, sometimes you might feel like you're going to water it down a little bit, like or like two of the same thing. Like when Paul Blart Mall Cop came out at the same time as what was the other one called, the Seth Rogen Report, something in Report. There were two Mall Cop movies that came out at the same time, or stuff that happens.
You're right. Observe and Report.
Yeah, that's the one. Everybody knows Paul Blart Mall Cop because they want to make fun, because you just make fun of it because it was terribly bad. But that said, yeah, I think that's a great spec. I think that's extremely in the now, in the moment. I think it's worth looking into it. I do think that if you can go searching and you can find some of the Marvel one, to me is that's where everybody's going to go kind of place. So I appreciate you giving some alternate options for where you can go. Cause the Monster Madness one was the first one that came to mind for me.
Yeah. Zig when everybody's zagging, guys.
Yeah, no, I love the earlier call outs too, because that Monsters of Madness will be will be plentiful, but there was a lot of those too, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be something a lot of people can find.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one to get, because the ones you just went through too, I'm just like, those would be tough.
Yeah.
Those would be tough finds to begin with, right?
Yep.
So, but it'll be something cool though when somebody says, no, I've got the number one, and I'm like, yeah, check out this Archie life with like, check out what Jesus showed me about. I found it for this and this collection, didn't even know he had it. That's Godzilla and Mothra,
That's why
worthwhile.
And then all of a sudden everybody will look at their mouth like, oh, you're not as cool as I thought.
20 years after the original.
All right.
Boom.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in here real quick because I want to talk about something else. Somebody else that we spoke to a little over 2 years ago now, Jesus, whose book we recommended highly 2 years ago. That book is getting into the spotlight a little bit. There was recently an attachment to a project that just got announced. Producer for it and Annabelle just joined Stray Dogs. So it's moving. It is in development. It is getting some movement going on. And if you're getting a producer behind it and Annabelle, those are big names. Those were a very massive success. And I think it's interesting that they're getting behind Stray Dogs because of just the nature of it, obviously, with the serial killer nature of it, with all the dogs. If you're not familiar, the series is 2 years old. I'm not going to tell you spoilers. You should have read it by now. And if you were listening to this show 2 years ago, you would have known when we had Tony Fleece on that it was optioned. I thought it was optioned 2 years ago when we read it, Jesus. So it takes a while for these.
It was optioned before it came out.
Yeah, it takes a while for these options to really work their way through. It doesn't always mean that they're just being put on a shelf. But in this particular case, now that we're getting attachments to the project, I think that means that we're getting. You're going to see more development. So I would really get on it. But and as much as I love Stray Dogs #1, and there's a lot of good variants and everything that you could go after for it, Tony told us about something that is even more rare, and that was the retailer preview, which was released at a Comic-Con. Was it Comic-Con, or where was it, Jesus?
Yeah, it was I think Chicago, I think he said, because
it might have been C2E2.
Yeah, and I think there was only 3,000, or he said
no. I want to say it was close. You see, now I don't know where my exact numbers are. I thought it was 400, but he said it was very limited.
Yeah.
It was very limited. 3,000 sounds like the print run for the first cover, which was also a small number. The initial print run, they ended up doing a lot of reprints for it. But if you can go out and find, you'll know that it's the preview, because it has on the front cover, it's a little bit of a different color. It looks like the same front cover, but the colors are different. The colors for the preview copy are significantly darker than the colors that you would find on the original Stray Dogs #1. So that's going to be your biggest. And then it says exclusive preview on it, of course. That'll be your telltale sign. But that particular one, 400 copies being printed. I think it was 400 to 500. It was definitely under 1,000. I apologize. We talked to Tony so long ago. I don't have my notes for it anymore. But I do remember specifically that was so significantly small, and they gave them away for free at C2E2 that year. So highly recommend that one. And if you haven't read it, it really is worth a read. It's a fun story. It is dark. However, there's a lot of good storytelling. And if you're, what was it? What was the cartoons like? All Dogs Go to Heaven, and that artistic style. Balto. That was the artistic style of the series, but with a much more mature content style. Actually, not unlike Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, as far as like that whole very mature content, but the artwork is reminiscent of our childhoods. So that's my spec for the week. I think that it's good to go back to. And if you listened to us 2 years ago, you already got your book and you're good.
Boom. Educated right there, guys. No, and it's a great story too. I enjoyed it. I've got my different movie cover variants, right? The Annabelle cover, all the different covers that there are to it.
They
the It cover. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those, and it'd be nice to see something happen with those again, because they went really high. But I mean, that's something too that, obviously during COVID, it was a very up market. But option's a dangerous word, right? Because a lot of people think it automatically is getting developed. It just means if this does well, we've got first dibs on it. And so I remember when it was optioned, that's when I was working at Cover Price, and one of the most knowledgeable guys I'd ever met in comics, Matt DeVoe, gave me a good sit down conversation on what it means to be optioned and what it means to be greenlit, right? Yep. Where it's just like, it's ready to go, it's greenlit, and it's happening, versus option, because it's like, oh, this is option, this is option, this is option. It's just like, and that's great, but don't pay for things on options. Get things if you can get them at cover price, or get them in your hands because they're optioned, but don't overpay for optioned items. That was always his teaching moment to me, was that. And he was the one who really got me on the whole, like, I don't want to ever sell my comics, I don't want to be a seller, kind of thing. And he's just like, if you want to be a responsible collector in the comic book community, you cannot not move your comics, when you need to do these things, because otherwise you're just always going to be living with an L, is because there's always going to be things that if you're looking to keep any kind of value, to keep the hobby paying for itself, where you don't have to worry about, are you going to be able to buy those 6 issues this week of the thing that you wanted? Yeah, just get rid of 6 of the other ones you don't want anymore, and sell maybe 12 of them because they're only worth half price right now. But let them go. You don't need them. You read them and let them go. So I love your guys' mantra of letting the hobby pay for itself. Is fantastic, and to all the listeners out there, kudos for you guys and girls for doing that, because it's responsible collecting at its core. 100%.
Well, thank you. Phil, I know you really, shared a bomb as far as speculation goes already with the Dr. Doom. Do you have one more nugget of wisdom you want to share before we roll out?
I really thought when I was looking at the lineup, I was going to be listening to your guys. I didn't have anything. The Dr. Doom thing was kind of by mistake. It's a happy little secret that I've been keeping. And it's one even too, like Theo was just like, don't tell anybody until we found all. Eventually there's going to be too many out there. We can't, but it was, but yeah, there's like 5 or 6 people that I did tell. And it's funny because every single one of them has sent me a DM with a couple of different Dr. Dooms, like sitting side by side. They're just like, I'm ready.
Well, this is
because I always hated that term influencer, but like, well, I influenced the influencers, so I got that. I'll take that part.
This is going out this week. Now I can edit it all out, but the listeners are going to be wondering what we're talking about at this point.
Dude, share it with the world, dude. Share it. We're comic book nerds, guys. Like, and I love Dr. Doom. And when I say a drawer full, I've got 8. it's not crazy, right? But I've got 8 of them, and that was more than plenty. And that was because I also love Doctor Doom in general, so it's not a bad investment for me to make. I mean, considering yeah, I'm a guy with the first appearance of Mephisto still, so
he's coming. Don't worry,
he's
he's coming.
Yeah. Well, we've already seen him. He just hasn't been.
He was the Fly in WandaVision.
Exactly, right. The Fly here and the weird gargoyle face there. It's Mephisto.
Exactly.
So yeah, and at the same time too, man, it's Lego, so there's always going to be little kids and parents, and this is at its low, so it's never going to go lower, right? That's the big thing to me in my mind, is it's at its low. So the only way you could have gotten it, you can't get it cheaper by buying the set, and there is, and Nihilus is in the set as well, if you are interested and you think they may go that way, which it is entirely possible. Nihilus is definitely an extra dimensional, outside of the universe threat that could show up. I believe it was Nihilus, but at any rate, he's in the set. But that set alone is going to cost you $200 now. I think it was like 89. I think it was like $89 back when it came out. What?
Galactus? Is there any Galactus?
No. No, not that I'm aware of.
So keep your,
and that's the thing though too, right?
For that, yeah.
It's all about Legos, just like comic book characters, have their keys, man. It's the first one they show up in. It also depends too on the print run, but like this is the first appearance of Miles Morales. Hold on here, I got to get my face out of the way so the camera adjusts. Miles Morales and Carnage, right? This is the first Lego set, still boxed, still sealed, but there's your first Miles Morales and there's your first Carnage right there. So this is, if you are a Spider fan, this is a good get. You can get it for around $30-$40 because there was lots of them. It was a small kit. The thing is about Legos, right? The smaller it is, the more affordable it is. And because it's more affordable, a lot more of them sold. But when you look at like the kits like that, like the Daily Bugle, right? And the Daily Bugle that I have, that's the first Daredevil, first Punisher, the first Blade, the first Firestar. Lego's gotten a little bit more stingy on us lately, but this is the Avenger Tower. I bought the Avenger Tower here. I bought the light kit for it, right? I got that light kit for it specifically because it's the Avenger Tower. Now, Lego's been very kind to me lately and sent me some cool stuff. So I can't divulge all the cool stuff. But at any rate, I'm getting the light kit because, yeah, I could try and flip this, but nobody really cares about the Kevin Feige first appearance Lego minifig, right? I mean,
not until he makes another.
If I ever get to meet Kevin Feige, I might get something to have him sign his minifig because I just think that would be cool. Get a really small little try and have him sign that. That'd be dope. But whatever, that would mean more to me than it would to, I don't know, that would mean a lot to comic book collectors, I think, in general, comic book movie fans. But at any rate, it's a good idea. Shut up, Phil. I'm not going to. Okay.
Stop giving away the milk. Stop giving away the milk for free.
Giving away good ideas to people that know how to collect already. Damn it. But the Daily Bugle, though, is still for sale and it's a good investment. Why? Daredevil's coming. Punisher's coming. Blade is coming. And you can't buy those in the other kits. And that's a $300 kit still, brand new right now, right? It's so high, most people don't have it. And since most people don't have it, that means it's not going to have a lot of prints out there. And that's a great place where you can make one solid investment and get multiple characters. That was the Cloud City for Star Wars back 20 years ago. That's where you could get, the only place you could get Lando. That was the only place you could get this version of Leia. This was I think this was one of the major appearances of the Han Solo with the vest that everybody loved and, all the fun stuff. Mainly Boba Fett. Boba Fett is the shining star in that set. But again, it was rare because it was so expensive and parents couldn't buy it for their kids. Only adults could buy it for themselves. So there's fewer of them. So I guess if there's a spec tale with that, yes, I've got plenty of comics, but all of you guys know comics all the time. So I'll drop a little Lego knowledge on you. Daily Bugle would be a good get. is still in production, is still low, and it's going to probably get retired in the next year because it's been out for so long. And once it gets retired, it's going to go up anyways, just because of that, just because it was retired every single time.
Very nice.
That and Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Daily Bugles all around. The first Daily Bugle from 10 years ago, the Daily Bugle from 2. So there it is.
Well, thank you very much, Phil, for sharing that. I think that this show alone is going to sell at least 2 Daily Bugles at this point.
Hey, this is the only problem is telling the kids, you can't touch this.
Oh, man.
Do not touch this.
Dude, I was looking for it because I don't have it around here, but I got a Boba Fett Lego mask. You know, the Lego helmet?
Yeah.
For my birthday a couple years ago. And man, I've been having to hide it and move it from, secret location to secret location because these guys are like, anytime they see it, they want to build it. I'm like, no, man, you build it. And then like a day later, it's just all in shambles. So, but yeah. I gotta keep these Legos away from them.
I feel you, dude. No, that's dope. I don't have the Boba Fett helmet. I've got the Mandalorian. I've got the Infinity Gauntlet. I've got the, this is a beast, but I'll show you.
Holy shit.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh. He's just got grails hanging in the wings, folks.
6,000 pieces. That's wild, man.
Yeah. So I got this big guy. But these are the only ones I have in boxes.
Yeah.
The Hogwarts is the only thing I'm keeping in the boxes because if I assemble it, it's too big for me to keep displayed. I am a Lord business. I don't assemble it and then disassemble it, right? If I put it together, it's together. And it goes in a display on the wall in a case. Like I'm Lord business AF. Yeah. And I know everybody in the house wants to put this one together specifically, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, no, this is too big. I'd have to put it on a table. And I do love the light my bricks to it because it's got like little display lights that come up on the side, so you can like change the colors of everything. That's awesome. So because of that, I'm like, man, I would need a table for it to live on into perpetuity, and I just don't have that kind of real estate. So that's the reason why this stays in the box. That's the reason why this guy does.
It's a bigger investment than just the time to build
Speculator, where I keep everything in the box.
Well. Yeah. Holy crap. So, man, I did not think we were going to go that deep into Legos. So this was a pleasant surprise. Thank you very much, Phil. And thanks for joining us all together because this was a lot of fun. It was really great to get to know you through the Legos and the Grail Tales and all of that stuff. That was really fun. And this is all forgetting almost about the fact that you really dropped a bunch of knowledge at the beginning on just how to maximize social media as well. So, Phil, you came on and really dropped a lot of info. Thank you so much for doing that.
I really appreciate the time, guys. It was nothing but an honor. I was very excited when you asked me out here. And then I was a complete POS and totally forgot and missed the last appointment. And then you guys gave me the second chance to even come back here and do this. So I am uber appreciative. And that's for everybody who's still here hanging out with us to know that these guys are such freaking gems that they even gave me a second chance to come back and join them this evening. So I'm blessed. And I'm excited that I got to make 2 new friends today. So yeah, this has been a fantastic experience, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, a new friend in the community. I've been following you a while, so now I get to kind of interact with you. And I'll be sending that picture with the Dooms here shortly.
Hell yeah.
That is it for us, folks. Thank you very much, everybody, for out there listening. We are going to be back again next week for our last episode of the year. Season 3 will continue again in 2024. I'm not going to spoil anything for what we're doing next week, but thank you very much, and come on back next week. We will have, I don't know, something cool to show you or to tell you. I promise. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good week.